Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me at this time. My name is Shavi Zane, and I'm coming on to bring a message specifically for the chosen. This message is for a select few of you, so take it where it resonates. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you find that it resonates with you in any way. First of all, I want to start off by telling you all that you have very, very powerful spiritual gifts, okay? Many of you have the gift of clairsentience, telepathy. You have clairvoyance. Many of you have all of the clairs. Like your intuition is very, very strong. And this is something that has been developed over time through lots of trials and tribulations. It took for you to go through many different things in order for you to start to realize these gifts. You started to see things very differently. You started to see people very differently. You started to sense that something just wasn't right about certain people that were surrounding you during these trying seasons that you've overcome. And for a time, you might have questioned it like, am I losing it? Am I seeing this correctly? Am I feeling this correctly? Are my senses really guiding me in the right direction? And you were most certainly correct. You started to see that there were people around you who really did have negative agendas towards you. And these are people that you knew personally, potentially family, friends, co-workers, people that you might have been around for a long period of time, karmic lovers. And the fact of the matter is, many of them really amped up their war tactics against you because they couldn't tell if it was really working or not. A lot of you chosen out there, you don't look like what you've been through. You don't carry yourself like what you've been through. I don't care if you was in a car, sleeping in a car, living in a hotel, you never looked like what you've been through because you always found a way to find the beautiful things in life. And so you still made yourself look good in spite of not having much. And so it expressed what it showed was the strength that you have from within. And your enemies, these people who you might not have viewed as your enemies, your ops, they watched you. They were watching you very, very closely, whether you're aware of it or not. And they couldn't quite figure you out, especially when you went silent on them. But from a distance, they monitored you and they saw that you were still looking your best and thriving in many different areas of your life. For some of you, you did actually take a lot of falls as a result of the evil eye and the negative intentions that they were putting out there for you. Many of these people were very intentional about trying to drag you down because they recognized that you had certain gifts. A large part of what they were really trying to prevent is keeping you from realizing those gifts. And I feel that you begin to have dreams, visions. There were different things that the Most High and your spiritual team was revealing to you about these people. And so once you begin to really tap in and accept what was being shown to you, you begin to act upon that energy. You begin to protect yourself. You became the spiritual warrior. You began to fight back. Okay? And by fighting back, I mean you amped up your faith. You began to connect more closely to the Most High and your spiritual team. And because of that, they begin to act on your behalf. Your enemies had no idea that for you as a chosen seed, that would be powerful enough for you to overcome what they were trying to do to you at that time. Once you became aware of these energies and you began to withdraw, that's when everything began to change for you and everything began to change for them, but not in a good way. Many of these people, they now recognize that they lose this battle. You've already won it. Guaranteed, you've already won it. It's over. You're safe and you are protected, safe to move forward in a positive direction where the currents were high and, it was a lot of, ups and downs in your life, that energy is smoothing out for you. Whether you see it now or not, the time is coming. So anticipate that. Despite all of that frustration that you had to deal with, despite the hurdles and the obstacles, you are on your way to making all of your dreams come true. And just as your enemies watched you from a distance when they was trying to create these stumbling blocks for you, they will be watching you from a distance as you continue to rise. A lot of them are very fearful of you now. They shouldn't be fearing you. They should be fearing the Most High. But they're fearful of you because they've yet to come to understand that the Most High is, in fact, real. A lot of them pretended to have a relationship with the Most High, but they do not. They are extremely afraid because they have been caught. They know that you know what they were doing behind your back. They recognize the power that you've been granted, okay? The divine power that you possess. They see it. And it's like they are obsessively in your energy. For some of you, this could have been a sister. This could have been an aunt. This could have been a brother, uncle, mother. It doesn't matter who it is. Karmic lover. Whatever spell they cast upon you has been broken. Okay? For some of you, these were multiple family members that were working together to create stumbling blocks for you. And it was for some of them wanted to gain access to your spiritual gifts. Some of them wanted to just block your spiritual gifts so that you would never come into the understanding of their agenda. Others were actually doing this for money, for a payout, because they thought that maybe they could take out a life insurance policy or do various things in order to use you as the sacrifice for their ultimate financial success. But they didn't realize just how protected you were. And so their plan, it failed here. They've been caught. Your spiritual gifts are so strong that you begin to use the energy of alchemy to shift your circumstances. And that's what they fear the most because they're so wicked that they assume that now that you're in your power, you're going to use that energy to try and create some sort of stumbling blocks for them. But you don't have to do it that way. When you establish that the highest form of righteous judgment is casted upon the heads of your enemies, they get what they deserve. You don't have to be detailed about that. The Most High knows what those details look like, especially based on the type of blockages they tried to create for you. Their reward, or their punishment rather, is 1,000 times worse than any agenda they had towards you. So your enemies, they anticipate what's getting ready to come back to them. And a lot of them, they're very afraid of your silence. That's what scares them more than anything, is your silence. Because see, in the past, they would be able to at least reach out and check in, call you every once in a while just to see if you was on to them, just to see if you recognized who they were in spirit. And you might have answered the phone. You might have had small talk with them. You might have exchanged false I love yous, I hope everything is well with you and the family, right? And so they could get off the phone and take a deep breath and feel like, okay, it's still working. This person is still blinded. Those blinding spells that we were sending out to keep them from recognizing who we are and what our intentions are is still working, because they don't see. If they saw, and in their mind, they thought, well, if you was clear about what they were doing, you wouldn't be answering, or you would be saying something to them directly about it. But see, your strongest power is your silence. Your silence says more than your words could ever say. Your silence lets them know, I see you in spirit. I hear you in spirit. I feel you in spirit. I know who you are. And so now these people, they're anticipating their fate. And it's a very, very scary time for them. You have angels that have been shielding you and protecting you. Your ancestors, they did not miss a beat. The moment that you stepped into your power and came out of that lack mentality, woe is me type of energy, victimhood mentality, is when things begin to shift. Your spiritual team began to work overtime and overdrive to awaken you and to get those spiritual gifts, to activate your DNA and to help you to access your Akashic records so that you could then remember who these karmics truly were. Because in this lifetime, they came in as blood family for many of you. And so it's very difficult to see someone who is of the same bloodline as an op. But your spiritual team began to work on you to show you, hey, we are spirits having a human experience. So I need you to come back into remembrance that that blood is also an illusion. That blood relation is an illusion. This is a spiritual relationship that you have with your true soul family. It's a spiritual thing. And so you go on to find your true soul family later on, and lots of times they have no blood relation to you at all. But then you'll be able to look at those who are blood related, and you'll be able to recognize who is for you and who is not for you. And you came into that understanding. I feel like now you trust your spiritual insight. You trust your gifts. And every time you have a nudge about someone, you're beginning to see that these things do, in fact, reveal themselves in the 3D at some point, and it gives you clarity about what you already felt. It's over with. What they was trying to do to you is now brought to light. Anything that was hidden is now been revealed. It has now been revealed. The sun is now shining on the situation. Why? Because the light that was within you that was dim is now much brighter. And so no one can come into your presence trying to hide their hand without you seeing them, because the light that you are, the light that you embody, automatically illuminates their energy. And so in the past, they were very slick, very sly, very clever in the way that they dealt with you, because some of these people actually knew that you possessed a gift that you had no idea that you had. Largely because some of these people were a part of wicked cults behind the scenes. They was able to tap into your energy. They did divination to see who are you, what is the potential of who you would eventually become. And so their spell work was directly targeted towards your potential. So they blocked everything that they saw could have been a come up for you. And that included your spiritual gifts. And so you might have found yourself on a cycle of negative karmic patterns that was happening over and over and over again, and attracting karmic relationships and karmic work situations, and just unhappy with your circumstances. But it didn't break you, though. It built you up. But just know that not everything that you dealt with was all a part of your destined plan. Some of that was literally what your enemies was sending towards you, because you was getting too close to awakening here in the age of Aquarius. And so they had to really lay it on thick with the spell work and lay it on thick with the rituals and the evil eye, because they knew that if they were not consistent and persistent with trying to keep you down, that you were going to break free because of who you are. And so this is why their karma is that much more detrimental to them, because they were relentless. They would stop at nothing. And for many of them, this literally was to take you up out of here, because the only thing that they could see was dollar signs. And for others, the only thing they could see was accessing your spiritual gifts so that they can then use it for wickedness. But they had no common sense. They had no understanding of who the Most High is. The Most High has a divine assignment for you, and so they could not block you from that assignment. You're a warrior. These gifts that you have, they're too powerful. So a lot of these people, they're being plucked up from the root. And you know, when a plant gets plucked from the root, there is no life left in it. And so there is a progressive death that begins to happen for that plant. And so these people, they might become ill. You might notice that they start to lose finances like it was nobody's business. Whatever they invested in, that starts to go out the window. I mean, anything that they thought they had rooted, it's now dying because they didn't plant it in the right soil. They did everything from a space of jealousy and envy. They had too much anger in their heart. They were completely ignorant, though. They thought they knew so much. They thought they were so intelligent. They thought that they had so much spiritual insight that they really believed that what they was planning against you would actually work. But you have been victorious and successful You are being recognized and rewarded right in front of their faces, and all they can do is just sit back behind the scenes and watch. They have to watch this play out, and that's one of the greatest things that is plaguing their minds. But outside of that, it's the karma that they anticipate that's coming. It's a scary time for these people right now. These people, you live, it's like you're renting a space out in their mind and you ain't even paying them no mind. You're in their head 24 hours, 7 days a week. They're constantly consulting with each other. Did you see this? Did you see that? Have you heard from her? Did she answer your call? What did she say when you talked to her? What did he say? Have you seen him? They can't figure it out because your silence is making them wreck their brains to try to figure it out. So some of them, they're seeking out readers to see if they can tap into the energy. What do you think? Does she know? Is she aware? What is she thinking? But see, even these readers, they're telling them, they're telling them, you are in your power. You're thriving. You're manifesting. You're creating. You're highly spiritual. They're also letting them know that you're aware of what they did, though. They're letting them know that you see something about them that is pushing you into another direction. So they know that you know. They're just trying to figure out how much do you know. And really, this is not for you to wreck your brain about it, to try to get down to the simplest of details about what these people were doing behind the scenes. This is more so about you seeing them for who they are and making the cuts because they're necessary. That way you can continue to move forward and receive your inheritance and everything that is divinely yours. The spell that they put over you has now been broken because you stepped into your own power and you began to manifest your own existence. You created a vision of who you wanted to become and you became that. You created a vision of what you wanted your life to be and it is becoming just that. And so now these people no longer, a lot of times I tell people, if you haven't taken your power back and become the co-creator of your life, then that means you are just passively existing. And if you are passively existing without a vision of who you want to be and what you want your life to be, then that means somebody outside of you is creating your existence for you. And you best believe it's not in alignment with love and light. Because whoever has the power to be able to use alchemy to shift your existence, they're not going to use it from a space of integrity. No. Because no one else should be out here trying to energetically shift anyone else's destiny anyway. And so anyone that uses spiritual understanding or spiritual knowledge in that way is likely using it for low vibrational reasons. And that's what these people were doing. So the gift is that you gained your spiritual insight before you gain your material abundance. Because there's nothing more valuable than being able to see through the matrix and being able to see through people's mask. You can't buy that gift. That's a gift that's only granted to those who are worthy of receiving it and gaining access to it. And you are worthy now because you've overcome the worst of the hurdles and you still stayed connected to the Most High. You still never gave up. And so now you have your spiritual gifts. And so after the spiritual gifts comes the material harvest, because now you know how to use those spiritual gifts to create and to co-create your existence. You know how to manifest. You know how to use the energy of alchemy to shift your circumstances. And so now you know how to also protect your energy because you understand what needs to be protected. This is not just you going off into the shadows and shrinking because you don't feel like dealing with a whole bunch of drama. No, this is deeper than that. This is you saying, I'm moving into a different direction because my soul family is on the other side of that pathway there. I'm moving into a different direction because my spiritual gifts will become more heightened if I'm not connected to low vibrational energy. Moving into a different direction because your love life now has the potential to be able to thrive absent people sending you the evil eye because they're secretly wishing that things will not work out. You're moving into a different direction because now the seeds that you plant, you can reap a harvest from them, and you don't have to worry about people having their hands out when behind the scenes they're wishing you ill wishes so that you will lose it all or wanting it for themselves. So the spiritual gifts must be activated first before the material harvest can come in. And you have put in the effort, you have done the work, and that is what has taken place for you. And so because of that, you're going to see long-term stability and success, okay? You're building now, you're creating now. You're going to see a lot of things unfold and come into fruition in the physical realm because you chose to walk away. Now you have new creative ideas that will be coming through, and you're going to be sitting with this energy for a minute before you actually take action towards it, because I feel like for some of you, you have to kind of take a deep breath and take it all in. Sometimes it can be overwhelming when your spiritual eyes begin to open. It's like, man, how is it possible that so many people ended up being ops? And how is it possible that so many people could conspire against a good person? You begin to question things like that. But when you really look at it from a higher perspective, you'll understand that it's bigger than them. It's bigger than you. This is a whole system that has been structured on wickedness. And so there would always be pawns that would be placed around the chosen seed to prevent you from rising into your divinity, because you rising into your divinity shuts down an entire empire that was built on wickedness. It destroys the beast that this system stands on, and the beast that this system thrives on in the spiritual realm. But now even that beast is being plucked up from the roots, and so it's no longer living, it's dying very, very rapidly. And the chosen, the body of Christ consciousness, is coming back to life very, very rapidly. And so there is a shift in energy that has taken place. There's a balancing of scales that has taken place. There's judgment that is now being casted. It's all types of things that's happening in the spiritual realm. And you can see it. You can feel it. We know it's happening. And all you can do is just give thanks and anticipate that the scales will now balance in your favor and that the head becomes the tail. So that's my message for you all. Congratulations to those of you who have found your truth, who have found yourself again. You've awakened your gifts again, and now you will begin to reap the harvest of what is divinely yours. I love you all. I'll talk to you all next time.